Hi, I'm Celeste and welcome to Find Your Purple. Today is day 3 of Veda, video every day for the month of August. And as promised, I'm going to be explaining what I eat on a daily basis since I don't eat meat, fish, pork, or dairy or eggs. Now again, I don't know if I mentioned yesterday, a vegetarian is a person that doesn't eat meat, chicken, pork, turkey, that kind of thing, but they do eat dairy. A vegan takes it a step up, and I have to admit it's harder because giving up dairy was harder for me than giving up the meat. I loved my cheese, but a vegan does not have dairy, does not have eggs, no milk products, and still does not eat the meat, chicken, fish, pork, or anything like that. So I am a plant-based, which is closer to being a vegan, and ideally in a whole food plant-based diet, you don't eat processed food. So I found when I first switched to being a plant-based, I ate processed foods quite a bit. I ate meat-looking products, meat-like products, beef lookalikes, hamburger lookalikes, chicken lookalikes. So it was a lot of processed food, but it was a step for me to move away from the real animal products. So if you look at my diet, it's not real varied. There's variations within it, but I eat I like Mexican food. So my vegan version would be a refried bean burrito with guacamole and salsa, or a corn tortilla with refried beans and some Spanish rice and some guacamole and shredded lettuce and tomato and salsa. For my Chinese, they have some vegan spring rolls that I put in my air fryer, and I use them with a sweet sour sauce. The sweet sour sauce is primarily sugar, but it's still one of those snacks that I feel is really giving me my junk food craving. I also do brown rice with broccoli. I cut it very finely, some chopped cashews on it, and then teriyaki sauce, and I feel like I'm getting Asian fried rice kind of dish, and I like that a lot. Italian, I can eat wheat, but I do limit my wheat because that doesn't agree with me a lot, but I'll have a spaghetti, and it could be a edamame spaghetti or a veggie spaghetti or sometimes a wheat spaghetti. I can do the zoodles, which is zucchini spirals, but I don't like them as a whole meal. I'll just mix them in with my pasta. But on it I can serve an organic homemade spaghetti sauce. I love pizza, but I found like Pizza Hut has a real good vegetarian supreme, and then I just tell them to hold the cheese, and that makes me feel like I'm getting my pizza fix. I can do it chili, grind up some of the kidney beans and use the chili mix, and sometimes the beef crumbles in there too, but I think it's pretty satisfying as a chili. I can even serve it with tortilla chips. I do like tortilla chips with salsa and guacamole as a snack. I like gnocchi, which is potato gnocchi. Try to find the ones that don't have a lot of extra ingredients, but I can serve that with a pesto or with spaghetti sauce and mushroom sauce, and I do like gnocchi. I do sweet potato and sweet potato soup. I just bake up 4 to 6 of them depending on if I'm going to have any of the kids over or not. I'll eat 1 or 2 of them right there with maybe some black bean gravy, which is basically black beans ground up. I don't like black beans whole generally, but if I grind them up, I like it as a gravy, and I can serve it on sweet potatoes or on baked potatoes or on cut up boiled potatoes or on brown rice, so I use that. But I'll have a sweet potato, and I don't have to put the butter and stuff on it anymore like I used to, and serve it with greens. I try to have greens at most meals, and I would have it with a sweet potato, or if I make a sweet potato soup, which is just taking that baked potato, peel it, put it in the food processor with some almond milk, and then heating it up, and I could put pesto in it, or a cashew cream if I happen to have some left over, and I serve it on a bed of cooked greens in the bowl, or with the sweet potato soup. I like having little broccoli. Again, I take my kitchen shears and I cut it up pretty small and stir it in, and I really like that, how that tastes. I'll do baked potatoes the same way, and then I'll bake 4 or 5 of them But instead of loading them with the butter and sour cream and bacon bits and cheese that I used to, now I can put, the broccoli on it doesn't strike me too well, but I can put some of my oil-free salad dressings on it, even the barbecue sauce, teriyaki sauce that I like, or I can do the black bean gravy on it, or I can just see what I have, make it even a Mexican one and put some of the Mexican spices and sauce on it, but I like that. I do find I can cut up potatoes and cook them in my Instapot and then have them with a pesto. I like that. It's almost like a potato salad. And another thing I make in my Instapot is I take the cut up Yukon potatoes and then I put garlic in it, I put chopped onions in it, and I put cabbage in it. And then I cook it for 30 minutes, the soup button. And when it comes out, I mash it. And it's kind of like a cabbage potato mash, but the cabbage somehow gives it enough flavor that I don't miss all the butter. And I'll serve that with pesto on it, or on my greens. Again, I steam the greens, put them in the bottom, and I cut my greens with a kitchen shear because I don't like these long things I have to deal with a spoon. I like things in bite-sized pieces, so I always cut it up first, then steam it, and then put it in the bottom of a bowl. And when I put a vegetable soup on it, or my tomato soup, or my sweet potato soup, or even a potato soup, or this potato mash, I just put it on the greens. So I try to get a lot of greens, and the greens can be kale, spinach, chard. I don't like romaine lettuce hot, so I guess there's and if I have beet greens, I haven't tried dandelion and greens yet, but that's the kind of stuff I get, and I kind of can mix it together and have it. My cheat food, the spring rolls are kind of a cheat, or tortilla chips with salsa and guacamole is a cheat food. I found tater tots in my air fryer. I really like those. I find the ones that don't have a lot of extra ingredients, then I just put them in the air fryer and cook them really crisp, and that can be my replacement for a big bag of potato chips. Granted, a big bag of potato chips is still vegan, but it's unhealthy. So you can be unhealthy and be on a vegan diet. That's real easy to do. But I try to keep to the healthier side. I like black bean burgers or lentil burgers. I started out buying them all. Now, if I have the time, I'll make some up, and then I'll, might make 6 at a time. I'll heat them up in my air fryer and serve it on a grilled bun with avocado, tomato, lettuce, and I put mustard. And I really feel like I'm getting my hamburger. But I guess that's pretty much the mainstay. I have salads too, but I don't eat much salad as you might think. People think that's all I'm eating, and I don't have that much more than once a week, because the salads I liked had the lettuce and greens in it, but then it had the eggs in it, and it had the bacon bits in it, it had the different kinds of cheeses on it, and then it had tons of dressing on it. So in fact, I really liked all the fixings. I didn't like the greens. So when you stripped all those fixings away, and I'm looking at this big pot of greens and maybe tomatoes, it didn't do much for me in the way of a meal. So I'm starting to like it more. I'm getting more things to put on it, but that's not been something I go to a lot. So that's pretty much, it's not an exciting meal. I'm not a great cook. I don't enjoy cooking, so I found the meals that are fast. That's got to be quick. Now, if you go to a restaurant or you go to someone's home that really knows how to cook, there are some really good vegan dishes, but mine are real basic things I can throw together or reheat and stay true to the diet, because you've got to have something fast. Because if I get home from work, I'm a realtor, and if I have a long day, I don't want to spend time cooking. And so having maybe brown rice already made up in the refrigerator and broccoli, I can put something together really quick. And that's kind of been the key for me to stay on it. Now that I've been on it 2 years, I'm more it's more a habit and it's easier. I'm not as tempted to stop and get the fast food like I used to. And so that's actually not only saved money, but it's kept me from just binging on junk food like I did in the past. Well, that's it for now. As always, grab your cup of tea, sit back, and let's start sharing. Until next time, bye-bye.